do it. Yeah.
All right. We have the stopwatch ready. We can start in a minute. All right. Fellow human beings, welcome to another wonderful session of Santa Clara Entrepreneur Toastmasters. Quite recently, we have made a change to our name from Universal to Santa Clara, just to emphasize from where our roots are. But that journey to actually realizing or going back towards our root starts off with a self-reflection. Why do we have to wonder or really think about where we come from? What are the traits that define us? And because of that, we decided to have a theme which centers around self-reflection in particular. Also, you might not have heard, but quite recently we had the winner of the world's international speech competition, Cyril Jr. Dim. Cyril gave a speech on Endini. So basically, a phrase that talks something about himself, and why that phrase was important to him is something that really coupled me to this path of self-reflection. So before we begin our session and I introduce the overall flow of today's meeting, I would like to share that speech with you. Normally well, for the sake of our guests, normally the structure of the meeting is such that we have prepared speakers, then we, in this case, Abhijit and Ravi, then we have table topics in which we have impromptu question and answers. Well, question in the sense, we give you a topic, the table topics master, and then you have to talk for 1 to 2 minutes, which is quite impromptu. And the third segment is evaluations. In the evaluations, a round robin evaluation in Abhijit's case, or a specific evaluation from Ramesh for Ravi will be provided. So that way we can focus on improving ourselves, our speech quality, and realize what we did good, what can be improved upon, and what was the most pleasant or interesting aspect of our speech. So that way, these are the 3 segments in which a normal session will be divided. But just before we go on to the prepared speeches, in today's meeting, I would like to go to Cyril's speech, his award-winning speech, and just share his outlook on reflection. Second, share.
Thank you, Contest Chair.
You're welcome.
I love that the Contest Chair sounds more Zimbabwean than I do. In Zimbabwe, we speak Shona. And in this beautiful language, we have a very important word that I'd like to share with you today. In Shona, we say Ndini. N-D-I-N-I. Dini. Try it. Beautiful. It means, this is me. In my language, we have one word for this very important phrase. This is me. Dini. This word is special for me now, but growing up, I wasn't always comfortable with who I was. You see, even though I grew up in Zimbabwe, my middle name was a long, winding, complicated Nigerian name, because my father, whom I never knew, was Nigerian. Now yes, I may know a Nigerian prince or two, but back then, I didn't want a Nigerian name. I wanted a cool name, like Martin Luther King Jr. or contest chair. The other kids would make fun of me. They said my name was useful as a password. They called my middle name memorably forgettable. They said my middle name was a curse from black magic. I hated my name. Have you ever hated something about yourself? I would argue with Mom. I would be so mad at her. You gave me this name. You did this to me. And now everybody makes fun of me because I'm different. And my mom would look at me and say, but son, that name is who you are. It's special. You know, your middle name means that what God has done, no man can change. And I said, Mom, man has changed many things. Okay, look at Chihuahuas. That used to be a wolf. I'm pretty sure I can change my name. And I did. As soon as I turned 18, I had my middle name removed from all my documents. It became my best kept secret. And I have not said that name once ever since. Before I knew it, it was 2018 and I'd landed in college, not in Zimbabwe, not even in Africa, but in the heart of Eastern Europe. It was clear who grew up in the snow and who grew up in the sand. I had never been this different before. The fly in the milk. It felt like I had taken one step forward and 10 steps backwards. But then I met Nick, another fly in the milk, but from Congo. He's got the African boy swag, you know, low, deep voice, speaks very slowly. He's like Mufasa, but in slow motion. We're in the library one day and Nick drops his ID. And like a good friend, I pick it up and proceed to read it out loud, including his full name. Nicholas Rolling Suwini Bitumi. I say, dude, let's say your name 3 times and see what happens. But I knew exactly how those words must have felt. But Nick was ready. I have never met anybody with my name. It was a gift from my grandfather, and I like it. And we laughed, and we got kicked out of the library. But in my heart, I was 18 again, seeing in Nick what I didn't have for myself: acceptance. And for the first time, I started looking around and I realized we're all different. Even Nick was different. But he wasn't just different, he was special because he accepted himself. And for the first time in a long time, I wanted to accept myself too. I looked myself in the mirror and said, Ndini, this is me. I know that many of you out there at some point in your life have felt uncomfortable being who you are. Maybe it was your name. Maybe it was the family you came from. Maybe it was the school you went to. Maybe you were tall. Maybe you were short. Maybe you have wrinkles, freckles. Maybe you have scars. I know that some of you out there know what it is to be different. And even if you don't feel it, I'm sure you know somebody who does. You are beautifully you. The only you. And no man can change that. So let me invite you to make this very important word a part of your language. Ndini. This is me. For my friends here in Nashville and the thousands watching from home, say it with me. This is me. Ndini. Beautiful. I haven't had the courage to officially reclaim my name. But here, today, I think we can make a step in the right direction. I was born Cyril Jr. Uche Chukwumere Dim. And this is me. Ndini.
You know, I had found this speech quite an interesting one and inspiring at the same time. It really brought about a phenomenon for me that just an incident led him to a reflection about his name. In our cases, those reflections can be via discussions with our friends. Sometimes an life altering event leads us to really think about what we really aspire or what is it that defines us. And today, I would like each of you in the table topics to think on what has defined you for the time being, at least, or in your journey towards where you are now, where you want to go ahead, and in what has really inspired you to be you. So, before we get to the table topic session, let us now begin with the prepared speeches, starting off with Abhijit. Abhijit's evaluation would be slightly different. It would be a round robin one. So in round robin, all the members who are present over here provide a helpful feedback, a point of improvement, whatever they think could be useful to Abhijit. The idea also is that we don't repeat what someone else has said prior to them. So if I give a feedback to Abhijit, I hope that the person who's giving the feedback next would give something different. That way we have varied perspective over the same content. His speech is titled The Loud Silence. Abhijit, the loud silence, the loud silence, Abhijit.
Are you enough? Have you ever had this question? This question was reverberating in my mind for many years, but I did not have that answer. But 3 years ago, I went to this 10-day silent meditation retreat, and something changed during that time. It was March of 2019. I was a bouncing ping pong ball, and my girlfriend was a serene brook. I wanted to be like her. She inspired me to sign up for a 10-day meditation retreat. Just because of her, I did that for June 12th. Now, I was worried. Am I going to last for 10 days? I had to come up with a plan. I decided instead of driving myself, I am going to drive with my fellow meditator, Mike. Because then I don't have any chance to escape because I will not have my car. Soon enough, June 12th arrived. Mike came and picked me up. We arrived at the foothills of Yosemite at 4 p.m. We had our introduction, onboarding, and I was dropped off to my dorm room. As soon as I arrived, my heart just sank. It felt lonely, as if this is my first day of college, and I was leaving my parents. I went to the restroom to wash my face. As I went there, I saw this board encouraging us to volunteer to clean up the restroom. I decided to sign up for the third day. The third day, I got up early. It was time for having breakfast, which is at 6:30. I rushed to have the breakfast. But at the same time, I was trying to avoid eye contact with everyone. Unlike Toastmasters, they encouraged us not to look into anyone's eyes or communicate with them through your eyes. I grabbed my plate and just went and sat down on a picnic table. There was my beautiful friend, swaying in the wind as the wind moved on. That dandelion was my best friend for the next 7 days. As soon as I was done, I arrived at the restroom, went through the instructions, took the vinegar and the sponge, and started cleaning the wash basin. As I was cleaning, there was this voice in my head. It started becoming very pushy. It said, "Oh, there are those stains. Clean them up properly." I listened to it. When I was mopping the floor, it said, "Where is that dirt? Clean it up." And when I was cleaning the shower curtain, it said, "You never do a meticulous job." This voice made me feel that I am not enough. I didn't know what to do about it. I just did my cleaning and arrived at the meditation hall. As soon as I arrived at the meditation hall, everything was serene until it was 9 o'clock. When it was time for me to go back to my dorm room, I was hungry. And then this voice started coming back again. It just continuously kept on going and going. It reminded me of the time when I scored very few grades in my chemistry exam in my first year of college. I could not sleep. Same thing happened on the 4th day, 5th day, 6th day. On the 7th day, I was looking at that gate, thinking about running away from there. But it reminded me of Sarah's words. She had said, when it gets difficult, just think about breathing one breath at a time. I just followed her advice, just one breath at a time. The 7th day went, the 8th day went, the 9th day went, and the 10th day arrived. It was the time for us to break that noble silence. As soon as we were done with our group meditation, we rushed towards the lunch hall. As I was running, my meditator next to me asked me, hey, you. Yes. Were you the person who cleaned the restroom on the 3rd day? Yes. I have never seen that clean before. What? the voice in my head. And Chris, there was a paradox. I didn't understand. After I came home from the retreat, I started pondering over it. I realized that this voice existed for a long amount of time. For the first time, I was acknowledging this loud voice in my mind. I realized that it wants me to do good. It wants me to make a difference. I decided I am going to listen to that voice. But sometimes this voice becomes crazy and helps me feel that I am not enough. If that happens, I'm going to repeat to myself, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. It helped me to get through many moments when this voice became loud. What about you? Do you have a big voice in your head? I want to encourage you to acknowledge that voice. I want to encourage you to listen to that voice. But always remember that you are enough. We are enough. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ravi. It was indeed a wonderful speech, especially the last part emphasizing we are enough. And uh, let me just, for the sake of the members, just tell them that the 10-day silent retreat he was talking about is called Vipassana. And interestingly, that meditation practices helps you focus on various aspects of your life. And that silence really leads you to reflection, to reflect on yourself, the dimples, the warts, the face, the all the good and the bad things. And that leads to a certain catharsis. That kind of reflection is essential for you to actually find out what are the traits that you like. What is it, something about yourself that you really admire that has been a source of strength for you throughout your journey in life? And what is it that you want to improve? What is it that you don't like about yourself? That meditation retreat definitely gives you the opportunity because it silences out all the noise that surrounds you. And then the only voice that you hear is the one inside. So, now that you had a fun session with Abhijit, let's see what are the things that he did well in his speech. Uh, shall we start off with Ramesh? What do you think? What's your feedback to Abhijit?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Hello, Toastmasters. Welcome, guests, and especially Abhijit. What a fantastic speech that was. You started with a powerful opening with a question. And you went through good storytelling style, which I loved. I did think that you also put in some in lighter vein things like comparing retreat to Toastmasters, where you look in the eyes, which is pretty good. I like that. I found even chemistry class, the reference to chemistry class was good. It was a little lighter. I feel like you did a fantastic job with opening, body, and ending, and your ending was especially powerful because you ended with emphasis and tying it to the beginning of the speech. That is one of the great quality of a good speech, because you started with enough and you ended with them. Now, to some of the areas of improvement, if any, first of all, it was very hard to find, but if you really So you talked about foothills of Yosemite. That was a great time to give some vivid description of it, or use some body language to take us there. You also you talked of in one time we said you went to the restroom, looked at the instruction. So now that probably didn't really jive well. Maybe you need to break the sentence a little bit somewhere. And you also use my mediator next to me. Maybe you want to use a different word, the mediator next to you, or something. One overall feedback I would have is that you don't want to leave the impression to the audience that you have to go to 10-day meditation retreat to be able to reflect on this kind of things, to reflect. It would be good to say, I went and I got this through this retreat, but it's something that you can do on your daily life, and give some recipe for us, maybe, some tips how we can do it without having to go through. That's about it. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thanks, Ramesh. Those were some useful pointers, definitely, and quite aptly taken out areas of improvement, because it is quite difficult, especially in Abhijit's case, to find them out. Ravi, do you have any comments? I guess there's some issue. Let's go back. Sampi, you heard Abhijit's speech. What was your impression he had?
Yeah, I like the story. Yeah, I like the part where you said you went to Yosemite, and I imagine the rocks and the things. Yeah. I actually heard the feedback of Ramesh, and I have one point to address one of the points that you mentioned. You said that he should have stressed why 10 days, or why not more, why not less. I think that's hard to do, because I think in Vipassana, they already cut down from 30 to 10, and it requires that much time to really, for your thoughts to settle down. So you could put it in a different way. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to justify why 10, why not more, and why not less. It can always be longer, actually, and 10 days is probably hard. It's already short, I think. So yeah, actually you did focus on the 10 days, but a couple of times you said that, but didn't say anything more than that. So you could have said something, I think. And I'm not sure how to evaluate this speech or the story, but I guess this is more a story, right? So if if it's a story, then the plot is probably more important than what you felt or what your impression was of where you went, right? Because if it's a speech and if you focus more on how you felt, then I think your choice of the way you phrase things would have been different. I would have phrased it a little differently, more from my point of view, given that it was a Vipassana. So I have done also Vipassana meditation, so I know a little. So I would have said the story more from how I would feel. But your story was more a couple of things how you felt, but a lot about the external part. And that, I guess, has to do with the fact that you made a plot out of it. I'm not sure if my feedback makes sense, but I'm trying to figure out whether it's a speech or a story, or whether the listener needs to be entertained, or whether they get a good impression of how you felt, like who you are inside. So storytelling can be very entertaining, not necessarily about yourself. So maybe it's a question, I don't know. And that's all I had to say. Yeah, I enjoyed it, so thank you.
Thank you, Sampi. Well, it's just to add on to your point, the story can be about what he learned in Vipassana, or it could be what his overall feeling was. That part is not really the thing to focus. The focus normally is around what he's conveying and if he able to convey something that we would like to hear. Probably it could be on anything. So that's just a point. But coming back to Abhijit's speech, there were two areas that I especially thought that he did quite well. One was showcasing conversations within himself. It takes just creating the impression of that voice which had a louder tone and his own slightly meeker self who was listening to that voice, or when he had a conversation with Chris, the meditator besides him, that conversation was aptly visible. That helps. There were some references about a dandelion, your best friend. However, the dandelion was quite solitary in the sense it had just one reference and had no addition or contribution to your entire storyline. So I guess if we cut out the dandelion and focus on Ramesh's uh, description, that okay, describe the Yosemite scene, or because you are talking about serenity, you can then the picture of Yosemite would definitely bring that serenity to our minds. That's for sure. And then figuring out, as Sampi pointed, what is it that you want to convey? For us, I guess the message was we can be yourself. We are enough. So nicely done. It was a nice call to action. Thank you very much, everyone, for your feedback. We now go on to the second speaker, who will be evaluated by Ramesh. The second speaker in particular. Oh, before we begin the speech, let's have a sound check. Ravi, can you just say something? No, you are not audible. Nope. Maybe you can join back. Until then, I can have some discussion with the guests who are here. Give me a moment. Shivangi. Hello, Shivangi.
Hi.
Welcome to the club. I was wondering, how did you hear about us, and how do you feel?
Actually, I am feeling low underconfident after hearing all these conversations. I don't know if I'll be able to deliver that way how others are doing this in this club.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, now your voice is audible, Ravi. Shivani, well, everyone has a different journey to take. No one can
1, 2,
have
3,
the
1,
same
2, 3.
journey. No one can have the same journey. So really
Shivang,
don't
you heard
stress.
one of the best speakers in the whole region and the Toastmaster community. So don't feel that way at all. Everybody who starts in journey starts, as Shardul mentioned, its own journey. And we all
Yeah.
very, very nervous, and we really don't have that much confidence. That the whole idea of the Toastmaster setup is that it provides that supportive environment where you can thrive. You can start learning,
Yes.
observing others, as well as trying it out yourself and getting some good feedback.
Right.
That's how exactly we all started that way.
Okay.
So
I'll try.
don't even have to think twice about that part. That's why this is the supportive environment. We all are in the same boat. We all have the same common goal of improving ourselves.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So please let us know a little bit more about yourself. How can you introduce yourself, where you are from,
Okay.
what you do, and what is your goal in Toastmasters?
Okay. So my name is Shivangi. Currently, I'm working with Accenture in Gurgaon. So I'm working here as a German language analyst. Back to like I have started learning German language as a third language, and And since I've started learning German language, I have lost my confidence in English. I don't know why, but I have lost my confidence. So as I want to grow higher in my organization, in the hierarchy, so I know this communication skills play a very significant role, and I've seen my leaders, they speak really well. Whenever I hear that, I just want to they keep so I'm very fascinated with that. So I know that if I want to grow in that in my hierarchy in the organization, so I need to develop those skills. Otherwise, I won't be able to. So that's why I'm here. I have asked my team TLs to help me out with my communication skills. He suggested me this Toastmaster, and he asked me to join this. He has improved a lot with the help of this, and I can see that. So currently, he is working as my TL. So that's why I'm here today.
Very good.
And I have that confidence. I'll be able to do it. Maybe it will take time, but I'll be able to do it. I have that
Absolutely.
confidence. Thank you, everyone.
And welcome. And this is actually a safe space for you to try. That's the whole idea of the club, that you can try whatever you want to say, your pitches, maybe some speech, maybe you have to rehearse something. Be here, give it a go, and you'll get some feedback that would improve it, some points that actually showcase what you're excelling at. And identifying both those points will help you improve. Thank you, Shivani, for taking a brave step and coming here and telling us more about yourself. And now we move on with the second speaker.
Oh, wait a minute. I think Ravi has his audio is okay. Has he got some feedback for Abhijit?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, Shartul. Abhi, I heard this speech before, and I have a question. Did you take off the bit of thinking about jumping on the wall thing? Did you remove that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Abhi, I like the delivery. It's very good. Okay. The delivery is good, the style, the voice variation is improved a lot. I really like the voice variation. The style is good. My improvement here is the movement in the story.
Okay.
The story did not move fast enough.
Okay.
I was thinking about this and I thought I would change this way. Day 1, bathroom. Day 2, trying to jump off the wall.
Okay.
Day 3, I don't want to look at anybody. Day 4, I am getting mad. Or, there's a pattern.
Okay.
You already showed these things in your speech, You, for example, day 4, now I'm talking with a dandelion. Day 2, I'm cleaning the bathroom again and again. So this will make the story move. Our guest is actually telling the same thing. She's telling, you emphasize the point, but I did not see the story move.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but that's what I think.
Thank you, Ravi. That was a really nice one, and definitely could make the speech and the overall flow quite humorous and pack in a bit more punch at a condensed time.
Can I say something for Abhijit? Yeah. So he said well, and his dedication of the speech is very good. The feel, pauses, and low and high modulations are very, very fantastic. But only one area of improvement is adding the humor.
Okay.
So I said, if he tells while he's speaking, it is very interesting. But if he had a little bit the humor, it makes very fabulous and fantastic. That's my gunshot thing.
Thank you, Abdul. Both you and Ravi are at least on that aspect, both of you are on the same page indeed. And now, with the feedbacks in place, we now go to our second speaker, Ravi. His speech will be evaluated by Ramesh, and his speech is actually tailored towards a humorous contest. So Ramesh has an outline of the points on which his normally a humorous speech is evaluated. Ramesh, do you have some evaluation parameters that you would like to list, or do you have some comments for me?
Yes. So as for the contest criteria, there are 9 different parameters on which the speech is evaluated. But the highest among them, I'm not going to rattle out all 9, but highest are speech development, where we look at structure, organization of the speech, and support material that is provided. Speech value, which is idea, logic, originality, audience response. So please respond if you really are amused. Please respond, because I'm going to make a note of it. And effectiveness, and just body language and voice, etc. So those are the main things I'm looking for.
Thanks, Ramesh. And it would really help to gauge the audience's response if everyone can turn on their videos, so that even Ramesh has a chance to observe, along as well as Ravi. If possible, please do turn on the videos. And now we go to the second speaker, Ravi Adusumili, rolling with the punches. Rolling with the punches, Ravi Adusumili.
On the day of my marriage, I received an advice that changed the way I look at my life. Things are not going to be easy. They're going to be ups and downs. Learn to roll with the punches. We took this metaphor very seriously. In order to learn how to roll with the punches, we joined a boxing class. In boxing, there are 3 basic things. You duck, you cover, or you counter. And these learnings, I kept it in my arguments and communications. For every argument and for every request that comes my way, I said, not my job. I don't know how to do it. Ask your mom to do it. Now, people might have found out this is not a good strategy. And this response not only made me lose my arguments, but also made me lose my privileges. Whenever I wanted to eat, the kitchen is closed. When I wanted to sleep, the bedroom is closed. And whenever I want to drink, the bathroom is closed. I don't know why did they close the bathroom, but this made me nervous, and I started stammering. And in stammering, I started using this yum, yum, yum. Honey, I can't sleep. Honey, I'm sleepy. Honey, I'm hungry. For every conversation, my response was, honey, I know I'm not an expert. I know you're trying to relax, but I think it's not this did not go well. Finally, I called the guy who gave me the advice and said, you ruined my life. He listened to the entire story and said, oh, you got half right. How can anybody get half of anything right? It is a boxing match. You're right there. Your wife is the boxer. You got it right there too. But you are the boxing bag in the ring. You got wrong there. Rolling with the punches is when you get hit, you need to roll so that you dissipate the energy. This changed the way I thought. rolling with the punches. How do I do that? Now, combining my both experiences of boxing and stammering, I came up with a new word. Hum. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Both of these words are not there in the dictionary because they're secretive and none of them want to be exposed. Mm-hmm. Honey, I want to go out. Mm-hmm. Honey, I don't want to go out. Mm-hmm. Now, the magical thing about this word is it doesn't counter, it doesn't criticize or condemn. It can be used as a question, answer, metaphor. It can be used as infinite. And on top of this, you just shaking your head based on the situation will change the meaning of this word. Surprise. Excited. This word actually has saved me a lot. No matter what I use, which situation I am in, just using this word made me survive. I know I received bad advices, but this is a good one that you will be using. Thank you.
Nice one there, Ravi. That was some sound advice. Definitely will be using it as well when I'm talking with my manager or something, when I don't know whether to agree or disagree. So we have a minute. If someone has feedback, I would highly encourage you to put it in the chat so that you can send it to Ravi directly. The time that Ravi took for his speech was 5 minutes and 1 second, of which it took around 2 to 3 minutes for him to develop the base storyline, then actually 3 minutes, then a minute to actually showcase how he did the usage of and then his final summation for less than a minute. That would be a rough breakup. So the idea, since he is preparing for a contest, these breakups help him in evaluating, okay, which part of the speech to lay emphasis on, which part can be improved, or where to give more time so that he can generate in more humor. So like I said earlier, the goal of the club is to help you achieve your aspirations to improve your speech or your performance in one way or the other. We now move on. Oh, I have forgotten to turn off the timer. We now move on to our second last segment, which would be on table topics. Table topics is something that is, I'll pose you a question that you can answer with either on your thoughts or what your aspirations are, something on the way. The idea is to be able to talk in a sustained manner for 1 to 2 minutes. Once you clear the 1 minute mark, the timer card will flash green. Once you have spoken for 1 minute and 30 seconds, the timer card would flash yellow. And if you have spoken for more than 2 minutes, the timer card flashes red. So that way, we have an idea, or the speaker has an idea of how much time has elapsed. Ideally, you would want to conclude once you are in the red zone, but that doesn't really stop you from finishing a coherent answer. So the idea is that you speak something as much as you can and try to be as coherent as possible. We start off with Abdul. It's been quite some time since you faced a table topic. What do you think? Would you like to face one now? All right.
Yes.
Abdul is in the right angle. Abdul, you have been one of your goal is to improve your speeches, and
Yes.
you were going out to give to market your instruments. You really found out that communication could be a major source of uh, performance improvement. What led you to that how do you say conclusion?
Yes. So communication is important, but the usage of words is also important. Like I have seen my leaders in my company, my leaders in my company. So her name was Shahnaz. So what I have seen in her is the way of usage of words as well as tone. So I feel that she is having uh, she like her stage is what we say, like he is the leader of the she is the leader of company because of the communication. So what I have observed, many things from Shana's madam is totally entirely different from others. So that's all.
Thank you, Abdul. Observing how your
Mm,
leaders. Oh, you're saying something else? I guess it's we're having network issues. All right. Uh, Communication, as Abdul pointed out. Something I would rather go for Shivani. Shivangi is you faced right now. You listen to Abhijit at the moment. What were the aspects of his speech that you would like to incorporate in yours? Since you said you wanted to improve your communication and you were quite hmm, you thought his speech was good. Sometimes the things that we see and we feel good, we try to incorporate in ourselves. So what were the aspects of Avijit's speech that you would like to incorporate in yours?
Uh, I think the way he has framed all his sentences and the way he present he has presented his story, like narrated his story. Uh, I felt that I'm listening it from somebody who has a great experience storytelling. So I didn't feel like he's a member. I thought maybe he's someone who has a great experience in storytelling and all. So I want to incorporate that aspect of storytelling uh, in my uh, in my speech. Next time, whenever I deliver any speech, I'll try to incorporate that aspect. I think it will take a great time. So, is there any other club where I can join? Uh, where have
Okay.
people who have like same level which I have. Otherwise, I'll feel underconfident while being in
Oh,
this club.
do
I don't know.
maybe
I won't be able
just
to
a
speak.
pointer. Just a
I don't know.
pointer. If you are.
Everybody's speaking so well.
No, but
I
that's a
don't know
point
why.
for you to maybe consider. Normally,
Yeah.
well, I'm an engineer, so it happens that I do talk about engineering to quite a degree, but you need to have some potential difference, as in you need to see someone who's good, and then you observe their traits and improve yourself. So you need to see someone who's really good for you to actually emulate them. It doesn't really matter whether the level difference is actually that will help you improve. So don't think
Okay.
of it as something negative. Think of it as a positive point that you are surrounded by great speakers. And but we aren't really talking of ourselves as great is well a bit wrong, but as in people you want to look up to, because I saw just now that Kate joined in. Kate is also an amazing speaker, and she keeps on hopping from clubs, and the way you try to interact with people, that really improves your communication, and that's the whole point of the club. So consider, if you want, join us again and see
And
how things
other
improve.
thing is that not all members have joined today, but we have all variety of members. Some members are beginners, some are in the middle, some are advanced. And that is the best combination to have in a club where the members, junior members or new members can learn a lot from other members. And you can see the journey within the club itself.
Okay.
We now go on to the third table topic, which would be for Sampi. Sampi, tell me an unexpected incident that led you to self-reflect. An unexpected incident that led you to self-reflect.
An unexpected incident. I have a lot of incidents that happened, and so it made me reflect, but an unexpected one.
All incidents are unexpected, unless you plan for them.
Yeah, I think I have one.
Mm-hmm.
So, so an incident happened, like, let's say about 32 years ago. And ever since that happened, it made me wonder. And it's been close to 32 years that I'm reflecting on it. So the incident is, I was born and I was named Samprajani. So that's the incident, So my parents explained to me the meaning of the name. So actually, I'm saying this also because, the TED talk, not the TED talk, the talk that you showed in the beginning, he talks about his name. So I was just thinking about it. So let's say that's the incident. So the meaning of my name is who knows the present. So Samprati in Sanskrit means the present. My dad used to do Vipassana meditation, and he used to read a lot of books on Buddhist philosophy. So that's the place where the name originated. And I always wondered, I always reflected what it means to be in the present. Because my name is like, who knows the present. I'm not saying that I know how to be in the present all the time, but but it always makes me reflect, and it always makes me wonder if I've come to a state where I actually appreciate and understand, and what it means to be in that state. So one of the things that I recently learned is acknowledging something. So like Shivani said that, that she feels like she can't speak well, or that I can't speak well, or whatever that may be. Acknowledging that you can't or you can, or exactly that state, that already brings you to the present. So everything else is immaterial. I mean, it can't get better or worse. You can only improve. So once you've identified exactly where you are, then you know where to go, at least the next step. Yeah, that's a self-reflection. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sampi. That was quite a self-reflection. And as I said, it was unexpected that you would see the video today, which led to you becoming in the present aware about your own name and thinking about it. Thanks a lot thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you so much for the time, Shardul. Yeah, thanks for inviting me as well.
A pleasure. We now move ahead with the next speaker. Kate, thank you for joining us today. Would you like to take a table topic?
Sure.
Perfect. So today's theme is self-reflection. And we started off with a video about this year's International Speech Contest winner, Cyril Junior Dim about what his name means. Basically, he reflected on his name. What was a self-reflection that changed you? And what incident brought it on?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Shadul, oh my goodness. I wish I'd seen the video, but that is okay. I can grow from that. What from my name, or what your question was, what was the something in my life that helped me change to become who I am or what I want to be? Yes. There have been many, just like Prajani, I hope I'm saying that the right way, the present lady, beautiful name, stated, there have been many instances in my life that have helped me, you know, make me who I am. But I don't think there's just one. But maybe there's a defining moment that made me realize and awakened me. And I think that would be my first surgery that I had when I was 12 years old. I had an open heart surgery, and they call it a zipper. Oh, sorry, I should call it a shark bite. And it's on my back, and it was to a coarctation of the aortic arch repair. And so before that, I was just living life. You know, I'm a 12-year-old. I just keep living life. But then I was told that I needed to have this aortic arch repair, which meant that there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of growth. There was a recognition that I might die. There was also a recognition that I wanted to be who I needed to be. And it wasn't until I recognized that in myself, and that I had weird dreams before the event, all these sorts of things that made me understand that I needed to find me. I needed to find Kate, because I didn't know who Kate was. And that's what we all need to do. We all need to find who we want to be, what our values are. And sure, there have been times when I've strayed from the path and haven't been who I needed to be and recognize my values. But I always think that I always hopefully come back to my values as who I am. But that defining moment when I was 12 years old, when I had that surgery, made me recognize that we needed to live in the present. We needed to live in the moment. And I needed to understand what I was working towards as a person, what I wanted to bring to the world, and how I was going to be in the world. And all I can say is that the surgery made me feel more than I've ever felt before, made me celebrate who I am and who we are as a community, who we are as a world, as a planet, as a race. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to you, Table Topics Master, because I hope that you know who you are and what your value is. Back to you.
Thank you, Kate. And that was a journey through a major life incident that has shaped you now. And just to build up a bit on your incident, not exactly on your, but the journey that you took. One aspect is actually experimenting with yourself to figure out what is it that you like, what is that you don't, and then figuring out, okay, from the overall incidences that I've experienced so far, what is that one common thread or one common denominator that is what I have loved, and that is something that defines me. Quite recently, I have changed job, which was from a place where I thought I would leave only when I retire. So after 60 years of existence in that company, into something that I am currently, into a job that I currently am in. And the one common denominator, why I love both those places and why I love the current one now, is the people around me. I have always been a people person. And by people person, it means my social environment has quite some impact on me, at least emotionally. Doesn't mean I can't hold on my own, but it does mean that, yes, I need to have those frequent interactions, like the lovely people we have over here, or with the people that I work with in my office, my colleagues. And that is something that I came to realize quite recently. That is what all this that is about, self-reflection, and what the entire session today is all about. Thank you everyone for sharing their experiences, their incidences, and your thoughts. With that, we now move ahead with the last segment of today's session. That is the evaluations. We earlier finished one round robin evaluation of Avijit's speech, and now we hear the evaluation for Ravi's speech, rolling with the punches. And that evaluation will be provided by Ramesh. Ramesh, it's you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, welcome guests, and especially Ravi. I really loved the originality in your speech. I think you must have written it from scratch, all by yourself. I can see that. And because none of this content I've heard before. So it is very original. That is great. And that is one of the criteria of the humorous speech. So out of the criteria, there are 3 things that you did extremely well. The 2 things I will touch upon where you can improve. And then I will spend some time on the content itself, and I'll give you some ideas about improving the content. Okay. So let's start with what all things you did well. I think the speech development, which includes the structure, organization, and support material that you provide, the speech value, the ideas, the logic, the originality, and your whole physical body language, voice, manner, all of that was exemplary. Those are all great. Those are really positive points. You built the story well, started with very nice opening about your marriage day, and then you went on to the boxing thing that you, and so on. So very nice build up, very good structure. And as I said, originality is something I loved. And your delivery was very good. You were confident, you were coming to the camera and talking, and your body language was good, tone was great, you're very direct, you're very assured, you're enthusiastic. So all of that is good. The 2 things that are in the criteria that that needs improved, if you want to contest. One is the audience response and effectiveness. Effectiveness is achievement of purpose, interest, reception, and they are related. Reception and the audience response. I feel like it was a muted response. It was generally humorous, but it didn't stand out. Okay. So that is something we need to work on. So I have got 3 ideas for the content that you can see how you can incorporate. If you like it, then it can make it more inverse. First, to the start, at the start, how about starting with involving the audience? How many of you are married, and how many of you have had any argument with your spouse? And then say, hey, I really applaud those who raised their hands, and I really pity those who didn't, because I know that you have had argument, but you don't want to admit it. that might be a good thing to get everyone riled up, right? So, and then you can start with your thing, box. Other thing in the middle, when you talked about, hey, things were not working with my wife, and I asked this guy, and he said, you're only half right. And I said, what is half right? That is a good thing. I like that. But maybe you can add something like, I really questioned him, how many people have you really advised so far? And he would say, at least 2 people have advised, huh? Only 2? Yeah. And the first one ended in divorce. That could be a nice humorous line first, but you're doing well. Okay. So don't get discouraged. So that might be a good thing to add. And on the last, I think the ending also can be made more stronger. It can be, I was thinking, just loud thinking, that ending could be like, I just got an, okay. So you can end with saying that next time you talk to your wife, okay, how about you saying, right? And see how it goes, and let me know your result, how it goes. Okay, that is something you can, that is one way of involving even more. And then you can also, I was thinking, you can say, I just got an idea. I can be a good relationship counselor, right? With all of the experience of that. And I can imagine a big line lining up in front of my office for counseling. And I hope to see many of you in that line. So the audience, so that might be something nice punchline at the end too. So these are some ideas to make it even more humorous and get more audience response. But overall, I love the speech. Thank you, Ravi. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Nicely done. Ravi, your sound will definitely add a lot more vocabulary and vocal variety in our speeches, I can assure you. But as for the evaluation, thank you, Ramesh. It was quite detailed. You elaborated on the points you did well and some very unique points of improvement, which I'm sure will take Ravi's speech to a next level. Thank you, everyone, today for the participation. It was indeed a very fun and enthusiastic session we have had. And before I ask for the overall impression you guys had, let me go over quickly to the timers report. Since everyone has spoken their minds today, and for the most part, I have seen my timing go in red, except for the 2 speakers who were sharp on time. So Abhijit, while still in the red, he ended his speech at 7 minutes 30 seconds exact. So not on time. For Ravi, it was 5 minutes 1 seconds and 44 microseconds. So pretty well. You are in the green. Then we go to Abdul's table topic, which was for 40 seconds. Abdul, we need to improve on that. We at least have to make you green. The next part was Sampi, who went for 4 minutes. Nicely done, Sampi. Your overall content was quite nice and engaging. So, like I said, 4 minutes is actually good. You can hold your own. Same goes for Kate.
Sorry, I think she would not be clear that table topics is 1 to 2 minutes.
Oh, right, indeed.
That's okay.
Overall, like I said, if you can speak and give a nice content, I would still like it. With Kate, it was 4 minutes 50 seconds. With I have forgotten Shivangi. Shivangi's table topic was roughly around 55 seconds, which is quite well, Shivangi, for a person who's giving it a first table topic. It was nicely done. Thank you all for wonderful participation in the table topics. Oh, and I forgot, Ramesh's evaluation was 3 minutes 55 seconds. So slightly above, but nice. With that, I would thank all our guests, and we just had a last addition to our small group, which was Salimata. Oh, I guess she left. Thank you all for joining today's session on self-reflection. We actually went through quite interesting bits of knowledge we had relating to our own personal stories, our experiences, and what incidents changed us and to what towards what or to what direction. One thing that I forgot to share in the initial part was what Ramesh also had pointed out on how do you do self-reflection on a daily basis. The idea is not to go daily into a retreat, like Abhi mentioned, for an extensive period. But the idea definitely is to go into a retreat for a small duration to focus on your actions. Now that part can be, and that is something that even Ramesh had stressed earlier, uh, I guess 2 weeks back when he delivered his keynote on how do you identify your areas to focus on. It could be journaling, it could be meditation, it could be recounting your actions. And recounting your actions doesn't really mean just thinking about them. Oh, I did this good or this bad. It's really okay. How should I have reacted to it? If that was something that you did good or bad, you have to recollect how you improve it, how you change that in the future. Because, especially for me, because I get angry, the next time I come in a similar situation, I know that, okay, I have to take a few calm breaths, not yell at the person in front, and, appear a bit more smiley without the normal frown that I have when I get angry. So, things like that you can incorporate in a daily routine. If these aspects are done, which I am even trying to which I am trying to implement these days, you can have some changes in the behavior. At least that's what my manager has told me. Since I'm no longer yelling at him, things to work out on. But overall, this was my take on self-reflection, and you have been a wonderful audience for sharing your experiences as well. Thank you for joining today's Santa Clara Entrepreneur Toastmasters session. Thank you all.